Season 5 of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous was a better conclusion to the franchise than Dominion. I don't even know if that's an unpopular opinion, but I'm saying it anyway. Yes, it's nowhere near as visually impressive as Dominion, but we get some really iconic shots here and stuff happens with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Spoilers if you haven't seen it already, because I'm jumping straight into the headlines. We see more of the two T-Rexes and Spinosaurus in this than we do of Rexy or the Giganotosaurus in Dominion. I felt more watching the Spino defeat Big E.T. than I did when Rexy was quote unquote killed in Dominion. That's possibly something to do with the fact that fans have been asking for a Spino and Rex rematch for like 20 years since JB3, and yet the dinosaurs were characterised to a believable extent so that you didn't want Big E.T. to die despite this. The Spino is a bit of an arsehole, which is true to its character in JP3, and you're left thinking, no way, did they just make it 2-0 to the Spino? It was an unexpected twist, as I always thought it was far too predictable to have them both rematch for the sole purpose of making the Rex win. Except no, instead we'll make Rexy come back to life to kill this other dino that we've seen like once. Why the hell wasn't the massive budget of Dominion given to the guys making Camp Cretaceous? Because they've clearly got a far better understanding of this franchise. If they can make something this good in a comparatively low budget Netflix show, just imagine how thrilling this would have been in live action with a bigger budget. It's as simple as the choreography of the fight, and what happens between the dinosaurs is more exciting and interesting to watch than what we see in Dominion. I was hoping I'd soften towards Dominion over time, which I kinda had, but then you see stuff like this, and now I'm even more pissed. Like, this is where it's at. There's that Jurassic spark that's been missing, no pun intended. It's a combination of the dinosaurs, the environment of the islands, and I'd go as far as to say you're more invested in the characters in this series, because they at least feel real and tangible. The two Rexes eventually teaming up and overpowering the Spino, along with the triumphant Jurassic Park theme, felt more symbolic and full circle than the end of Dominion. Across the series, we have this parallel storyline which was teased at the end of Season 4 of Darius' brother, along with Dave and Roxy from the first season, travelling to Isla Nublar in the hopes that Darius is still alive. But as we know, the campers are in fact now on Manticorp Island. The villain of the series being Mr. Khan, Kenji's dad, which adds some great challenges for the characters, also visits Nublar, and this allows for the revisiting of familiar locations from across the series, whilst at the same time bringing the narrative forwards. This was a really nice surprise, as since the campers left Nublar in Season 3 and it was blown up in Fallen Kingdom, I didn't expect to see it again on screen. And we get this wonderful tour de Nublar of all the locations, including the original Jurassic Park Visitors Centre, and even get to see iconic dinosaurs such as Blue once more. I also noticed this season is rated 12, which is now the same as the movies, and I'm pretty sure the others were like PG or U, which reminds me of something like the Clone Wars, where it got more of a mature following over time and got appropriately darker. Speaking of which, we get a really interesting new species in the Nothosaurus, being essentially a plesiosaur but with legs, so it can chase you in and out of the water. Without a doubt, one of the most terrifying dinos we've seen in the franchise, and I'd never heard of it prior to its appearance here, which is really cool. As mentioned earlier, we get quite a few returning characters from previous seasons, well, those who weren't eaten at least. But by far the standout is friggin' Lewis Dodgson turning up, looking exactly like Campbell Scott. He plays a key role in the series, and we see him visit Isla Nublar, providing a much needed setup of the character prior to Dominion. He mentions wanting Blue's DNA, which made perfect sense given the events of Fallen Kingdom, but she tricks them into the Dilophosaurus territory, where Dodgson finds Dennis Nedry's Barbasol can, explaining its initially random appearance in Dominion. But the main reason he's here is for the control chip technology invented by Cash, which the campers try to stop from happening, but we kinda know this is going down anyway because we see the tech put to use in Dominion, as Ramsey Cole explains, and when the dinosaurs are all herded into the middle at the end. So the whole island hopping thing not only feels epic whilst maintaining that Jurassic vibe, it's also the first time in the franchise that we visited multiple islands in the span of one episode or movie. We get these awesome establishing shots and they use part of the Jurassic Park motif, so you just know that it's Isla Nublar. This also allows for iconic dinosaurs from the series like Bumpy and Toro to return, cleverly explaining their absence when the volcano erupts in Fallen Kingdom, instead being transported to Manticorp Island by Mr. Khan. I would say this whole mind-controlled chip palaver is a bit out of place in the franchise, but it's literally in Dominion, where it serves little purpose and is barely touched upon, so at least here it actually serves the plot well. In the final moments, we finally see the campers reunited with their respective families. This is a big payoff considering it's been the main goal since season 1 and goes pretty much how I'd imagined, with a few twists, which was satisfying to see. We do get a flash forward which kinda reminded me of Harry Potter's ending, where we see the main cast years later, though they all have ridiculously long hair, which is bizarre because this never changed during the couple years they spent in the wilderness. So it's funny now that they're home, they grow their hair out, which you'd assume they'd be dying to get trimmed. But despite this qualm, the older designs of the characters is jarring at first, but I think they did a really good job. And I couldn't help but notice the characters now more closely resemble their respective actors, which would make for a smoother transition into live action, just saying. The ending is a wonderful cliffhanger that leaves the door open for their return, hopefully in live action. The final shot of Darius looking in awe at the Brachiosaurus from his window takes me back to how exciting the possibilities were at the end of Fallen Kingdom, before that all kinda died. The added detail of Darius living next to the Lockwood estate where the dinos initially escaped from is an awesome detail.
Darius, have you heard of the Lockwood estate? It's a little ways north of you.
No? Why?
They're saying that dinosaurs have somehow... Look, I don't want to say any more until I have some real facts. It's probably just a prank. Just keep your eyes open.
Will do.
When Brooklyn mentions investigating, I couldn't help but imagine a Lion King 3 type of deal, with her and Darius helping move along the events of Fallen Kingdom from a different perspective, which we already got a taste of in earlier seasons. To me, this was the perfect conclusion to Camp Cretaceous and a fine addition to the Jurassic canon as a whole. The series has helped to fill in gaps in the lore, expand upon concepts introduced in the movies, and sometimes even exceed them in quality. I left the theatre after seeing Jurassic World Dominion feeling slightly confused and dissatisfied with the messy and overly ambitious plot, lack of actual dinosaur action, and a bizarre focus on bloody locusts. But the final season of Camp Cretaceous feels so much more like a conclusion. The characters have all developed quite drastically, with each given the necessary screen time, and the same goes for the dinosaurs, meaning you actually feel for them when stuff happens. It celebrates not only the previous seasons of the show, but the movie franchise as a whole, whilst remaining fresh and original, directly complementing and setting up aspects of Dominion, a movie that unfortunately fails to return the favour. But what do you think of the final season of Camp Cretaceous in comparison to Jurassic World Dominion? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, I'd love to read them, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.